journal entry number 25, Travels and Travails, from the pen of Sgt Drake Alexander. So, let me see. Jeremy, if you want to begin doing this, do the 3 paragraphs ending with the third paragraph, laughter, at the end.
Okay, yeah. I gotcha. We have traveled by the light of the moon along a dangerously narrow mountain path. A select few are with me, some of them my best warriors. The sun breaks over the horizon, and with it comes a new day, a day that won't soon be forgotten. While still climbing through the last stretch of this winding pass, I can hear the clatter of battle rise from the valley below. It is our troops assaulting Utgar's camp. The attack is only a ploy. The plan is beginning to unfold. The attacking force, led by Thorgrim and Finn, the Viking brothers, catches the enemy off guard, and then, just as Utgar's army musters their forces, the Viking brothers turn and retreat. The Utgarians take the bait. Their forces charge after retreating soldiers, thinking the attack was some desperate and ill-conceived attempt at victory. Utgar's army believes that today is the day that they will triumph over Jandar's dwindling forces. They could not be more wrong. When the retreating troops reach the foot of Stetchavan, they turn and charge back upon their enemy, an enemy that outnumbers them more than 20 to 1. I can picture it now. The rows of Grut archers were howling laughter as they let loose their arrows at the command of pacing swag riders. The great troll stampeding forward, his oversized sword swinging back and forth in deadly strokes. The grin worn by the minions of Utgar as they lick at their teeth in anticipation of the oncoming slaughter. But the slaughter will be their own. For over Stetchavan's hilltops flies a sole Kyrie warrior. She lifts a spear above her head, and with a mighty battle cry, thrust it into the ground. There, at the point of the spear's strike, a towering giant appears, charging with sword in hand. A dozen more Kyrie fly over the hilltop, then 2 dozen, then 4. This gives pause to Utgar's forces for only a moment, and then laughter.
All right. Jason, if you want to start with pathetic and just finish those 2 main paragraphs.
Okay. Pathetic. Not nearly enough to matter. They speak too soon, for in the very next moment over the hilltop and among the ranks ride the Templar cavalry, and just as quickly the swarming forces of Olar's Viper army join the fray. Utgar's army falls to chaos and is swept away by the frenzy of vipers and charging knights. Victory belongs to us, but not without its costs. Rumors have been stirring that Utgar himself has come in his arrogance to be here when his forces break through into Nosterland. Now it is my opportunity. This is our chance to take that tyrant down. And so, under the cover of night and during the long battles of this day, I have led my small band of soldiers through the hidden mountain pass. Our purpose is to enter Utgar's camp while his soldiers are out war, fight our way through his personal guard, and destroy Utgar himself.
All right, and let's see here. Okay, the last 2 paragraphs. Joe, would you like to do that?
Sure. I scan the western perimeter of Utgar's camp with the aid of my binoculars. 2 of Utgar's minions stand guard. With a movement of my hand, I signal the pair of Omnicron snipers who travel with us. The Solborgs move in unison and fire on each of the minions with a deadly precision. We stream into the camp in Paris, splitting off among the black tents in search of the evil Valkyrie general. Paired with me in a shotgun is Shotgun Sullivan, and I'm glad for it. We've become quick friends since meeting here in Valhalla, and I trust the man with my life. Shotgun makes a low whistle to get my attention. We've got trouble, he whispers, nodding up ahead. From around the tent stalk 3 ravenous wolves, sniffling the air. These are not the werewolf-looking types we've encountered before. These ones crawl on all 4s. Looking up, the wolves spot us, their eyes lighting up in anticipation of their newly discovered meal. Snarled lips twisted up, bearing sharp teeth. The wolves spring at us. Sullivan reacts quickly, peppering them with shotgun spray. 2 of them drop. The third releases a warning howl, cut short by my sword. It's too late. The camp is astir. Our cover is blown.
Okay, well, talk about a cliffhanger. But yeah, we're gonna end it there for that entry, and I think those are the wolves of Vadru, right?
Yeah,
it's being talked about there.
I know that was definitely a hint because I don't think those were out yet when the entry dropped.
Yeah, the
once again, I want to live. I wish I could go back and relive through that moment to like read these and be like, "What are they talking about? What wolves? We don't have wolves."
I read these entries like so. This is the crazy part because I have a really, I think core memory. I think that's the word, right? Core memory of this moment where I used to take this like it was like graphic design course, right? And I would be able to use the computer because you had to learn how to use the Photoshop and everything like that. And so after you did all the assignments, I think you'd have like 10 minutes before switching classes so you could do whatever you want on the internet. So during that time, I was on Heroscape.com. Every extra 10 minutes I got, so I'd finish my assignment, I was on Heroscape.com. And I would read these entries over and over and over because I would just replay all those moments in my head. I was just like, oh man, I can't wait for the next set to see what what they're hinting at, what fights are going to start happening. And like I started writing a lot of what I would do for like my personal projects and stuff because of I was reading this stuff over and over and over again because it was just so good. Like it really is like core of the Heroscape experience is the story of, oh look, there's this cowboy who's working with this World War II soldier. They're working together and they got Omicron snipers from a future planet of robots that just took out these demon looking things. They're like, you're seeing all this in your head as you read it and you're like, this is amazing.
Yeah, no,
like, this looks so cool.
Very good narrative writing down when it comes to this this huge battle, but at the same time you have this small little insertion into enemy territory to like try and wipe out the head off the demon basically for good.
It's a two prog attack.
Yeah, and lots of characters in here to talk about. And Josiah, what character stands out the most to you from this?
So I always think my headcanon is that like Johnny Shotgun is Drake's like great granddad or something like that. Like they're from the same region of the United States, people like his great grandpa was a Texas cowboy, and that's where Drake is from. Or so like that's always kind of like there's like this weird connection between them. I was there's no facts supporting that, but I think that'd be kind of a fun thing to explore. I think it's just it bums me out because the narrative is getting so good. You can tell they're building stories. They're really trying like new things, and Swarm of the Morrow was really kind of a dynamic set compared to the first Heroscape set. And I believe if we never went to Wizard of the Coast and we kind of continued, I think we would have gone some really crazy cool places if the narrative continued.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, definitely. Heroscape always had really creative aesthetic in terms of like where we were going, because the lava set, right? They nurture the idea there's an entire peninsula of volcanoes that suddenly appear, and you have to cross that to get into this giant swamp jungle mass, the unexplored area that they were just like, oh yeah, there's another Valkyrie here, and they just kept expanding on that, and we were all like, oh, what's next? Are we going to go up into the sky castles? We were talking about if people that have wings,
oh my goodness,
like
they
could build into the air.
Avalon Hill, didn't we? Like a couple years ago.
Yeah, and we did talk about it with Avalon Hill too.
Did.
But it's taking into account how they would build a civilization if they had the ability to fly and all this stuff. And we were just like, everybody was getting really creative because huge shout out to all those aquarium decorations, but like the people that would take those and turn them into like Heroscape models and stuff that they could mount onto the maps, and it just helped build that idea of what was possible in the world itself. Yeah, this writing helped a lot with that. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Jason, what character stands out to you?
Ooh, these entries here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. I think I have to go with Just good old Drake Alexander. He's my favorite character. He's one of the favorite characters in the story.
Yeah.
And yeah,
the Templar Knights. You know, I should actually pick the Templar Knights because I actually have my Renaissance Fair costume is a Templar Knight. So that's probably the more appropriate answer for me.
For sure. For sure.
Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, for sure. Them coming out, and it's just that big part of that, main battle, which is almost reminds me of like Lord of the Rings almost, where you have this overwhelming force of army, and then you have like a retreating, relatively good guys.
The trick.
Yep. And and then charging in and trying attempting to rout them. In spite of the overwhelming numbers. Yeah, for sure. Joe, any favorites for you?
Not really. There's no Morrow.
There's no Morrow yet.
Yeah. This is pretty smart of the Warrow. Really can't. I mean, it's leading up to something.
He's totally not mind shackled, people. He's totally not. He's totally not mind shackled right now.
I mean, what is there to really like? If there's no like one single mind thinking. Everyone's thinking on their own.
I hope the Mario character, Renegade makes the Mario character the most expensive miniature. I hope.
That one pirate tomorrow.
It's gonna be a giant flying dragon, and it's gonna cost $300. All right, like it's just gonna be this.
And Joe will be the only one that buys it, and we're just gonna let him enjoy the singular character. He takes to every convention with him. Like, please let me field it. Please let me field it, please.
Totally useless monster, but you know what, Joe's.
Put me in, boss. I'm ready.
They released Nagaxa 2.0, who just has 2 sword hands, and it's $300 for no reason.
He's just like Wolverine, and just like, no, he runs like the T-1000 and acts like Wolverine.
Nice.
My shekels, my shekel, my shekel, my shekel.
What? I guess one thing that stands out to me.
You have to do it twice per turn.
Well, one thing that stands out to me in this story is the fact that, the minions of Utgar. And the fact that, and this is where, creative liberty comes in on this story, to where they get taken out with one shot from Omnicron snipers, which in the game, it's possible.
I mean, I could see it. You got deadly shot, right? That doubles at any skull roll, right?
Maybe they have height, So
it is funny that they are fighting each other, not fighting, but like it is funny because both their characters have very similar abilities, but one's melee and the other one's range.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Just but narratively,
if it was a melee battle, I would think this is made up.
Oh no, they're over. Yeah. No. Sorry, ain't gonna cut it.
But no, I've seen some sniper takedowns. They don't underestimate sniper at height.
Haylord was in a tent, and he was actually on their side boosting the snipers, so...
Yeah. Oh, snap.
Oh, dear. Any other thoughts from this before we close this journal entry? I know there's a lot to say, still probably from this, because it's just a build-up.
Good stuff.
Yeah, just my last thought is, if you were to ever animate like an official canon lore entry, I would love this battle animated.
It would be
on a ToV really style. Cool. You have the Templars and the snakes. It's almost like
I was seeing it. I was totally seeing it. I was visualizing it actually while we were reading it. So or something. Do something similar, or maybe do like a flashback type thing.
Ooh, with
really building a character. I could definitely see that. So yeah, absolutely. Any other thoughts? No? Any other lore thoughts, Jeremy, from this before we wrap it up?
No, this is just like kind of a really good introduction to, like I said, the spirit of Heroscape. If you ever wondered why people are so excited about this game, it's just the amount of references. I mean, I actually haven't counted it, but if you go through this, I mean, there's at least a good handful of different thematic experiences all going on at the same time. And you can see how they all like work together, and it's just this nice, I guess you could say, good good energy building story, because Ugar was definitely pressed as this unbeatable evil. He was winning left and right, and they were just having such a difficult time. But now you're starting to see the benefits of the alliance. The alliance hasn't even formed fully yet, right? This is just the results of Jandar and Ular teaming up. So two Valkyrie working together, this is what happens. So it's a really nice way of presenting, this is why they have to become allies, because by themselves they can't fight Ugar, because he's summoning thousands of orcs, thousands of these, right? So, but if everyone teams up, this is how we win.
There's a
and
chance.
You can see the results.
Yeah,
right?
there's a
and
chance.
It's a nicely, I like the tone of it, how it's presented. It's like, this is the result of the alliance. This is what happens when we team up. So
absolutely, and I think it's a good way to end it. It's like journal entry 25. This is the journal entry that if you want to get excited over Heroscape and Heroscape lore, this is the one to start with. This is the one to start with. Then you can start back in the beginning. Okay, we'll build
it. Yeah, and I do say, like, these larger entries that dictate, actual events in the game, like actual events in the history, they help make the explanations of the land a lot more interesting to get into, right? Because it's like those like small references are really cool, but it's like when you start seeing it in action, I think there's more like potency to it in terms of enjoying it, and you're like, oh man, this is really cool, I can get back into this now. It's kind of like, then you start digging into this is where they're from and stuff like that. So
well, that's taking a look then at journal entry 25, and like Jeremy was just kind of saying, this is when things get interesting. So looking forward to doing more journal entries in the future.